The town I grew up in wasn't even marked in most maps. If you blinked while driving through, you'd miss it entirely. Just a scattering of old houses, a small church in the center, a gas station that closed too early, a couple of shops and forests that stretched farther than anyone I knew had ever walked. Life was the same, day by day, predictable. Nothing ever happened there. Until one day, the day I still cannot explain. The day that twisted my life forever. My name is Roy. I'm 20. Since finishing school, I've been working at my dad's hardware store. Same routine every day. Open at 8, stack shelves, sell nails, tools, and paint. Listen to the same stories from the same people. Close at 6. Go home. Repeat. It's the kind of life that slowly closes in on you without you even noticing. And for someone like me, it felt suffocating. I always wanted more, something different, something lively, exciting. I dreamed of the day I would leave this sleeping town, or at least that by some miracle, this town will come to life. That day, something really came to our town. It started around 5 in the morning. At first, it was just noise, low, distant, like thunder that never quite arrived. Then, 2 hours later, a convoy rolled past the main road. Matte black vehicles, looked like the military. No markings, windows too dark to see through. They didn't slow down. They just disappeared toward the forest road 10 miles out. Within a week, a tall wire fence appeared deep in the forest, cutting through trees like a scar. Armed signs were posted every 100 feet. Restricted area. No trespassing. Authorized personnel only. Use of force permitted. This became the main topic. Everyone talked. Everyone had a theory. It's a weapons testing site. Or it was a secret research facility. Even it was the base where Navy kept aliens. Something with satellites. My cousin says it's underground. My brother-in-law says it doesn't officially exist. And yet, no one ever saw guards. No patrols. No soldiers. Just trucks going in. Construction lasted months. Helicopters thudded overhead at odd hours. Lights glowed above the tree line at night. Too bright. Too steady. Sometimes, if the wind carried right, you could hear a faint hum. Not machinery exactly. Something smoother. Constant. Then one day, it all stopped. No more trucks. No more helicopters. No more noise. People stopped talking about it after a while. Or at least they pretended to. In a place like ours, curiosity had a short lifespan. Life went back to normal if you ignored the fact that a non-existent military base sat 10 miles away, humming quietly in the woods. Mark was my best friend. We grew up together, got into trouble together, and we both hated the idea of staying stuck in that town forever. But Mark was different. While my destiny seemed sealed as I would inherit my father's business, get married, have a bunch of kids, and have an average life, Mark had big plans. Man, we're wasting our lives here, he told me once, waiting for me to close the shop. There's gotta be something out there, something big, waiting for us. I laughed it off. Looking back now, I think something was already on its way to us. Because a few weeks later, just before closing, he entered the shop. We're going, Mark said one night. I knew exactly what he meant. The base? I hesitated. This is a bad idea. That's exactly why we should do it. He grinned. Come on, Roy. Don't tell me you don't want to see it. I hesitated for a moment and then said yes. We grabbed a few tools from the store, wire cutter, flashlight, rope, and a screwdriver. I don't know why we would possibly need a screwdriver, but Mark shoveled them in his backpack and we headed to my home. I left the shop keys and told my mom I'm going to hang out with Mark. I grabbed my camera and backpack and we took off to the woods. We walked for nearly an hour, following the dirt road until it narrowed into a path, then into nothing but memory and guesswork. The forest felt different that night. Too still, like it was holding its breath. Even the usual sounds, crickets, owls, were gone. Just our footsteps. And that hum. It grew louder the closer we got. Not louder in volume, exactly, but clearer. It wasn't coming from one direction. It was everywhere. Like it was inside the air itself. "Do you hear that?" I whispered. Mark nodded. "Yeah, that's not a generator." We reached the fence. Heavy clouds were covering the moon, and the forest was pitch black. We couldn't see more than a few steps ahead of us. The trees weren't shapes. They were shadows inside shadows, blending into something endless and suffocating. "Stay close," Mark whispered. "I am," I muttered, even though I wasn't sure anymore. We moved slowly, one step at a time, feeling our way forward. Branches scraped against our jackets. Twigs snapped under our boots. Each sound too loud, too sharp in the silence. Mark pulled a pair of wire cutters from his backpack. The wire snapped with a soft metallic click. For a second, both of us froze. No alarms, no lights, no voices. Just that deep, unnatural silence and strange, increasing hum. Mark pushed the cut section aside, and we slipped through. "There," Mark whispered. About a mile ahead, barely visible against the dark horizon, stood a single building. A huge metal building without windows. No lights, no movement, no signs of life. We started walking toward the building, slowly, carefully, every step measured. My heart was pounding so hard, I was sure it could be heard from miles away. Halfway there, I stopped. The air was warmer inside the fence, noticeably so, and thicker somehow, like it resisted movement. The closer we got to the structure, the more I felt it. Not just the hum, but something else. A pressure. Not physical exactly. Mental. "This is a bad idea," I whispered. "Mark, I've got a really bad feeling." He didn't even turn around. "Then stay," he said. "I'm going." And then, a sound split the night. A high-pitched frequency, so sharp, so intense. It didn't feel like sound. It felt like something drilling straight into my skull. I dropped instantly, screaming. My hands flew to my ears, but it didn't help. It wasn't coming from outside. It was inside my head. My vision blurred. I screamed but couldn't hear my own voice. The world twisted. Pain exploded behind my eyes like something was trying to claw its way out of my brain. I collapsed onto the ground, writhing, gasping. And then I saw them. A sudden light. White, cold, unnatural light pouring down from above, burning my eyes even through half-closed lids. And then I saw the figures moving toward us, slow, deliberate, not humans. They stepped closer and closer until they were standing over me. I couldn't breathe. The smell hit me first, rotten, sour, like something decaying, but still alive. I had my eyes still open, looking at them in terror and agony. Their bodies were shaped like ours, but wrong. Too thin in some places, too stretched in others. Their skin looked pale and uneven, almost folded. Their faces, God, their faces looked human, but distorted, like someone had taken a normal face and bent it out of shape. Their eyes were huge, black, empty. Their mouths hung open slightly, revealing rows of thin, sharp teeth. One of them leaned closer to me. I could feel its breath, hot, foul. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. Then, a loud explosion, like a gunshot, and everything went black. At first, I thought I was still dreaming. Voices, distant, echoing. Then closer. Laughing. "Look at him! Is he dead? No way, he moved!" Something hit my leg. Hard. I jerked awake. A group of kids stood around me, laughing. One of them stepped back quickly when I moved. "Hey, he's up!" They scattered, running off, still laughing. I blinked, disoriented. The sky was gray, early morning. My head throbbed like it was about to split open. I looked down at myself. My clothes were filthy, torn. In my hand, a bottle of beer. I stared at it, confused. I had never drunk alcohol in my life. What? My voice was dry, barely working. I pushed myself up slowly and looked around. I didn't recognize the place. Concrete, tracks, a train station? My backpack lay a few feet away, open, everything spilled out. Panic hit instantly. I rushed to it, dropping to my knees, grabbing everything. My phone, gone. Camera, gone. Money, gone. No, no, no. I looked around wildly. Mark, I shouted. Mark. No answer. Nothing. Just the distant rumble of metal. Forced myself to stand and stumbled toward a sign. I read the town name. Twice. My stomach dropped. It was nearly 50 miles away from home. How? A loud horn echoed. I turned. A cargo train stood on the tracks, engines humming. A man's voice called out from somewhere nearby. Last call. Train's leaving in 2 minutes. My town's name. I didn't think. I just ran. Somehow, I climbed aboard, slipping between cars, hiding myself in the shadows as the train began to move. I don't remember the ride. I don't remember anything except the shaking, the cold, and the pounding in my skull. It was almost 5 a.m. when I got home. The house was silent. My parents were asleep. I slipped inside, unnoticed, and went straight to my room. I peeled off my clothes and headed to the bathroom. That's when I saw it. A small line on my belly. Stitches, about 3 inches long. Clean, precise, fresh. I froze. My hands trembled as I touched it. No pain, just there. I took a shower, trying to wash everything away. The dirt, the smell, the memory. I felt exhausted, completely drained. I crawled into bed and passed out almost instantly. I slept for nearly 10 hours. When I woke up, the first thing I did was grab my laptop. I called Mark. No answer. Again, nothing. I didn't wait. I went straight to his house. His brother opened the door. You here for Mark? He asked. Yeah, is he okay? He hesitated, then stepped aside. He's in his room. I walked in, reached his door, and pushed it open. Mark was in bed, covered completely by a blanket. Mark? I said. No response. I stepped closer. Mark, it's me. What happened last night? Go away! He screamed, loud, desperate, terrified. Mark, listen. Go away. Go away. Go away. He was shaking under the blanket, repeating it over and over. I backed off. I didn't know what else to do, so I left. After that day, he never spoke to me again, not once. He would avoid me completely. If I tried to talk to him, he would walk away like I wasn't even there. But it wasn't just me. He changed with everyone. He became quiet, withdrawn. His face looked worn out. The skin color turned into grayish yellow. He looked older, like time was moving faster for him. Weeks passed. Then he stopped going out of the house. I went to his house several times. His parents always said the same thing. He's not feeling well. Eventually, I heard the truth. He had gotten worse. Much worse. They took him to the hospital. And then, the hospital transferred him to a military hospital for unknown diseases. After that, nothing. No updates, no visits. A few months later, his family moved away. No one knew where. No one asked too many questions. I never saw Mark again. But whatever happened that night, it didn't end there. I started having nightmares. The same dream, the same faces, those black eyes, rotten smell, and high-pitched sound. I developed severe migraines. They never stopped. Sometimes they hit so hard I collapse. I don't know what happened that night, and I probably never will. But one thing is certain, my life hasn't been the same since. And neither have I.